Welcome to the Minding My Creative Business podcast. I am your host, Ronald Ironically Jr.
And I am Shy Speaks. I am so excited to be the host as well of the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to gain strategy, structure, and self-development, all in one place.
Yes, so once again, we are here and we have a special guest today.
Yeah.
Right, so let me tell you a little bit about this special guest before I allow her to introduce herself. Right, but we have Mrs. Tenita Johnson, who is a authorpreneur. Right, she helps other people become authors. She has a one-stop shop to where you can go and get help with your editing. You can get ghostwriting if you need help ghostwriting. She helps you with the designing of your cover. Right, so if you need like every aspect of your book, she helps you with that. Right, so yes, Mrs. Tenita Johnson.
Y'all clap for that.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
You're
excited.
welcome. You're
Come
welcome.
on, glasses. We're in line with
Right,
the glasses.
right.
Yes.
So that's how I would introduce you.
Yes.
How would you introduce yourself?
You are now watching The Book Bully.
The
The Book Bully. Many people say I bullied them into writing a book. People literally are on social media like, every time I see your post, I'm not even writing a book, but I feel like I should be writing a book. You probably should be writing a book.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I can concur with the book bully. I like that. I like that.
Yes.
I actually want to take time right here to say we are dedicating this particular episode to all the authors.
Yes.
We want you to understand that you are a creative, or at least that's what we think. There's
Absolutely.
an age-old debate of whether or not writers are artists or if authors are creatives, but I think the best person to answer that question is the book bully.
Let me tell you something. As not only an author, but as a poet, and many people don't know that I write poetry. Poets have a way with words that can move your very soul. And there are some creatives who, I'll tell it to you like this. They say if a picture is worth 1,000 words. So for me, poetry is probably worth 1,000,000 words. When people read words on a page, there should be something happening in your body. Words are powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a strong yes for you.
It's a strong yes, not only in the natural, but in the biblical sense. We create with our words. We don't create, we can create with pictures, but specifically biblically, we create our world with our words.
Right.
Wow.
So out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever you say is what you will see.
Right.
So that's why I don't go around confessing I'm broke, I don't have it, I don't know when, I might, I may. No, it's I am and I will.
Yeah. And when, huh?
It's just a matter of when. Now,
Right.
the when is not up to me.
Right.
It's a matter of I will and I am.
Right.
As if it already is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So based on that definition, the fact that you use words, that automatically makes you a creative because we create things with our words.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I want to take it a step further. Most people don't know this. Every movie, every sitcom that we love, every stage production, Tyler Perry's movies and films and his stage productions, somebody has to sit in a room and write those words.
Exactly.
Before anybody gets on a stage, they have a script.
Right.
So somebody has to write those words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was teaching a little workshop on the power of voice, and I said that to people. I was talking about all the different art forms.
Yeah.
I think art is so powerful. Aside from dance, you know,
Oh, yes,
aside
I
from
love
dance, they don't necessarily need words, but every other art form. So all the performers you see singing, if they're acting, if they're doing anything, everything had to be written, right?
Correct.
Before it's presented.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means it had to be created before you get to watch that person who you say is an artist
Right.
do the thing.
Right.
So
Then
when
somebody
you
has
think
to-
about even spoken word, the power of words combined with music, I tell people music is the quickest way to shift your mood because there are lyrics and there's a beat.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling sad, you need to listen to For real, I'm happy
Right.
because you want to be happy. Whatever it is, change the mood, change the music.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially if we got some words with it.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ron, would you say that writers are artists?
But of course.
Would you say that authors are creatives?
But of course.
He can't say no with me sitting here.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
But why? Watch this. Why though? Why would you say that authors are creatives?
That is a good question.
Choose your words
right.
wisely.
We got an entrepreneur in the building.
Right. Well, no, like you said, it starts and you're creating something from nothing, like I said, and you're using those words. So you're going back to that biblical piece. It's like, let there be light, and there was light.
And there was
right.
light.
So, you're creating with your words, right? It's just. It's the epitome.
It's the fundamental.
Yes, it's the fundamental. Right? Even if you're like we were talking before we started, and I was asking, okay, we know that people that write fiction, they identify as being creatives or artists.
Yeah.
But those who write nonfiction, would we consider them creative?
So guess what? When I write nonfiction and when I'm coaching my clients, we write nonfiction just like we do fiction. I now become a character in this book.
Right.
Whether I use my real name or not. The character is Tanisha. The character is Ron.
Right.
Ron becomes a character in the book. Now, it may be based on your true life story. But if we now turn this into a stage play and a film, Ron is still the character.
Right.
So whether it's fiction or nonfiction, there's still a storyline. We're still using the power of storytelling. And at the end of the day, you can transform lives a lot quicker by storytelling than principles and rules and regulations and
Now, so to speak to that,
Come
right?
on, let's do it.
So there's a book that I was reading because I'm not a big novel person, right? I read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of informational books, self-help, right? So I purchased this book called The DNA of Relationships for Couples. That book, I wasn't aware that it was a novel because I read The DNA of Relationships prior. So I'm like, okay, for couples, I'm thinking they're going to get into couples.
Yeah.
They wrote it as a novel.
Okay.
And they just intertwine the self-help couples marriage stuff
like
throughout
that.
it.
Yeah.
And
So they have real life scenarios with couples.
Yes,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than I would have if I just would have read it as a regular self-help book.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So me and my husband, when we coach couples, we have a ministry called Marriage Uncut. Full transparency, we've been married 20 years. Shout out to my husband, Jermaine.
Shout out to Jermaine.
And at year 10, I had the affair. And most people, when they hear we've overcome infidelity, they assume it was him. And I'm like, nah, fam, I was the one wearing the Scarlet Letter. Y'all remember the Scarlet Letter book from school? No, it was me.
Right.
And when God told him, no, pray for your wife and cover her and stay with her, this will be a huge part of your testimony. We are now not in this marriage because we just love each other so much. Yes, we love each other, but we understand God has a bigger purpose and plan for this marriage than we do. It's about us, but it's not about us. So when we do Marriage Uncut, we create these fake scenarios loosely based on our marriage. Sometimes, maybe not.
Okay.
So you create, it's like you'll give it a name. You
I'll
create
say
a scenario.
Tanisha and Jermaine are out to dinner, and in walks an ex-boyfriend. And he comes over, hey, Tanisha, long time no see. What should she immediately do? Should she, A, introduce him to her husband, B, get up from the table and leave? I mean, so because we run marriage small groups, and so as opposed to just coming in and teaching the word of God and the Bible and just teaching straight from that, we create the scenario and we say, let's discuss it.
Right, because at the end of the day, as I answer the question, I'm getting to a principle. There's a relationship principle here that needs to be implemented, but you're doing it through the characters and the story that
and
you
the fun,
Right.
and it takes the onus off the people in the room when I get to become a character. So if my name is Tanisha, if I now change my name to Tasha, I'm Tasha.
Right.
Doesn't matter that I am braver being Tasha than Tanisha.
Now, before we so
yeah,
we got a lot. Hold on, but listen. So
this podcast is now just turned into 2 hours.
So with the Marriage Uncut, you give the scenarios.
Yes.
Is it a choose your own adventure type book, or you just kind of you let them choose it and then how does that work? And I asked that. I'm kind of tell it on myself, but I was a huge Choose Your Own Adventure fan as a kid. Like
Uh-huh.
those were, if I read a book,
Yeah.
there was only kind of books I read.
Okay.
I even played those kind of video games back when we had, you know, Oregon Trail and all
Yeah.
that. I'm telling my
Yeah.
age, right?
Yeah.
Do you know about Oregon Trail? Right. So is it like that or no? Okay.
No, so let me
Okay.
say this. Marriage Uncut is not only the name of our marriage coaching program, it's a book series where we already have 3 books published from couples or individuals. Sometimes not all couples want to write together, talking about things that they've overcome in their marriage or divorce. Some of them ended up divorced. Marriage Uncut eventually will be a podcast if I can ever get my husband to go to the podcast studio. Hello, lights. Yes. But no, some of it is open-ended because we want people to discuss and we want them to come to their own conclusions. Sometimes it's a multiple choice. You have these four options. What's the best option?
Okay.
If you were coaching this couple, what would you say?
Right.
What should she do next? And the ex-boyfriend just walked in.
Right.
You know, so everybody's on eggshells in the room and tense. And I'm like, it ain't y'all boyfriend.
Right.
It's hers.
Right.
About Tanisha.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, when we run our small groups, somebody in the room has experienced what we wrote about. Yeah. It just works out that way.
Yeah.
Character, storytelling, writing,
Yeah.
because it's people.
It's
and there are
people.
scenarios,
Yeah.
and there's just that. Okay, so I have this this thing that I was going to say as far as why I think authors are creatives, and that is because even if you're, we know fiction, we know they created characters. Now we know that nonfiction, if you think about it in a certain way, those are still characters, whether they're real or not. And at the end of the day, you have to have creative ways of sharing your framework, your principles, and all that. All that's still creative. But then I would like to also say that it's when you write the book, you're also creating a business behind it. Like
Correct.
So or like what you're saying here, they're creating you could be creating a nonprofit organization behind it. You can create a ministry behind it. Because I've heard people say that the book is like a business card.
It is.
Right? It's a business card. So if
The book is your new business card. You don't give out business cards. Give people your book.
And and here's and this is why. Why are we saying it's the new business card?
Because when you read my book, you have now been introduced to me personally, professionally, creatively. If you want to do business with me, you're going to feel like I know enough about her to know, like, and trust her because I read her book.
I know her. I like her.
Yeah.
I trust that if I come to her for whatever it is that she says she can do in this book, whether it was helping me bring my marriage back, whether it was helping me with watercoloring. This person says they know all the juice on watercoloring. So I'm going to go to them and I'm going to do hey, can you teach me personally one-on-one?
Yeah.
I'll pay you to teach me one-on-one because from what I read in the book, I know you know. This has to be the tip of the iceberg.
Right. Right.
So
unfortunately, a lot of people come to me for a book and they don't realize that I'm also highly prophetic too. So what happens is we don't just get a book. We get a whole business. We get a strategic business plan with a strategic marketing plan.
Yeah.
We get a book. We get an ebook. We get an audio book. We get a webinar. We get a conference. We get a clothing line. we get a stage play. We get a movie. We get short films. We get a series. And I teach my clients there are 7 to 12 streams of income tied to just one book.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to write 30.
Right.
Just one book.
Now, this is why we have her here. And she calls herself an authorpreneur, and authors are creatives because she just told you, how many? 12?
That was 10 streams.
That was at least 10 streams that came out of.
So there's no reason for us to be broke, starving, grinding, or hustling.
Yeah, creating all of this just out of creating a book.
We working too hard.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. What was the first book you wrote?
Oh,
and
so
why?
guess what? The first book I wrote is called 100 Words of Encouragement, Tidbits of Inspiration. I had been unemployed from a job for about 3 years. Kind of like we talked about before we got on the air. Me and my husband moved to Waco for 6 months. I quit my job at AT&T, which is like no longer a thing.
Right.
AT&T Yellow Pages. So I'm dating myself. Okay.
Right.
AT&T Yellow Pages, where we still had the big yellow books, and quit my job. We moved to Waco. 6 months later, we were back. Couldn't go back to my corporate job. So then I got in this rat race of being a contractor. So I was never a full-time employee hired in. I would get short-term contracts, 3 weeks, 3 days. You might work this week, you might not. And immediately I sat at my desk and God said to me, "What's in your hands?" And I said, "Well, I'm a writer." He said, "Well, write. What else?" "I'm an encourager." He said, "Well, write encouraging words."
Right.
And I would send an email to 5 friends every day. And when I got to about 62, a friend of mine, Natasha, said, "Are you keeping these?" I said, "No, girl, I send y'all the email and I go on about my business. I send it out every morning, okay? Don't ask me to do nothing else." She's like, "Well, I've been keeping them," emails them back to me like, "I think this is a book." I did not set out to write a book. I set out to encourage and to write.
Wow.
So in 100 days, I had 100 Words of Encouragement, the book. Then I did 100 Words of Encouragement Part 2, which is even crazier. 100 Words of Encouragement Part 2 are nothing but social media posts that I pulled down from years past.
Wow.
Like literally had an admin go back to like 5 years ago. "Can you pull down all the motivational posts from 2017?
Wow.
I'm going to put them in a book."
And it was that simple.
That's
wow.
it.
Wow. No.
I promise you that's all it is. There is no secret sauce. Like it was 100 Words of Encouragement 1, 100 Words of Encouragement Part 2. Today I could probably do a Part 3 if I wanted to.
Right.
Because you've been steadily encouraging and writing.
I could pay someone on Fiverr to go to my social media and just pull down motivational quotes that I've been posting every day. Because we're constantly posting. We don't have a lack of content. People just don't know what to do with the content. We're producing content every day.
No, this is good, right? So one of my former coaches, she would tell me, because she was teaching me how to market.
Yeah.
And she would always tell me, like, "You're overthinking it." She was like, "You can take your social media posts, your highly engaging social media posts, and turn that into your email marketing.
Yes.
Like, make that an email."
Yeah.
So now you're even saying, take it a step further. You can take these posts
Make it a book.
and make it a book.
Especially if you sat there and wrote. You did write it.
Yeah, this is long form too.
And
Listen,
it took you time
listen.
to write
I
it.
mean, when you look at some of the
Right.
social media, they even got a hashtag like "warning, long post alert." Like,
Right.
this is a long post.
Yeah.
That's a
It's gonna
chapter.
take you 10 minutes to read it. Like, that's a chapter right there.
Right there.
We are overthinking it.
Wow.
So I didn't know which one was your first book. I know you've written
23, girl. 23.
I was going to a lot of books.
Yes.
23 books.
24 launches March 30th. I'm launching my 24th project.
Wow.
Yes.
I know that one of them is a book that's geared towards going from corporate to a creative.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I was like, man, I think that one is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what was it that convinced you that you could actually make a living from being an author? I know you mentioned the 12 different streams of income,
Right.
but at the time you didn't know that, right? So like you said, you were just writing and encouraging. At some point it had to dawn on you, did you like write, say, I wrote this book and I made so much money and it's like, oh, I can make a living from this? Or after you wrote the book, people start coming to you saying, hey, can you help me edit, or can you help me with my packaging? And after doing so much of that, you realize, that could be a business. Like, what was it that made you realize you could go from corporate to a creative by being an author?
So what I tell my clients is, what I tell all entrepreneurs, find a problem and solve it. And so for me, I was actually tired of seeing independent authors' books filled with so many errors, so many grammatical errors, spelling errors, sentence errors, a comma where it needs to be a period. So when I started my company, it was just an editing business. If they actually wanted to publish, they had to go somewhere else after me because I was sending them out. I'm not publishing. I'm not doing cover design. I'm not doing I am just proofreading and editing.
Gotcha.
And one of my clients did the best thing he could have done, and he asked me for a second round of edits because when I first started, I was only doing one. And he said, do me a favor. Can I pay you, but can you look it over again? I want a second round of edits. And then I added that service. And now that's a normal practice in my company that it goes to at least 2. It may go through 3. But over time, the company has morphed from 2009 to 2024. And eventually I said, listen, I've been editing and proofreading 25 years now. I can't even sit long enough. I can't sit still long enough to edit a manuscript right now. Like the gift is just done.
It's just it just been all used.
That's how you know when it's time to shift and pivot. When what you used to do came easy and you are now struggling to do it, it's time to pivot. and release it and let it go.
And
so now I have contract editors.
right, and not struggling from a skill ability,
Right.
but struggling from a motivation. Like,
From a motivation
I
and
don't
a
desire
focus
to do
level.
this,
I
right.
don't even desire. I don't care
Yeah.
how good the book is. Now, every now and then I'll edit some books that are fiction, but even that, it takes me a long time. I'm talking about going from, I used to be able to edit 20 to 25 pages in an hour. I was very quick and accurate, like 98% accuracy. Wow. Today, it is probably 10 pages an hour. It is cut in half.
Right.
You do not want me to edit your book. It is going to take me a month and a half to get it back.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be right, but it's going to take a long time to get it back.
Yeah, no, that and you kind of answered,
Yeah.
know, the next question, right? Was like, we hear a lot about like niching down,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's riches in the niches, right?
Yeah.
But you started in the niche, but then you started to expand and said, okay, I still do editing, though I may not do it. I have editors on
Right.
staff.
Now we're publishing.
Right, now we're publishing.
And eventually I want to grow to now we're publishing and marketing your piece for at least a year.
Okay, so what's the name of the company? Because it's somebody that's watching this right now that's
Yes.
like,
So
this
the
is
name
sounding
of the
good.
company is, So it is written. So it is written.
written.
It's the name of the company. Yep.
Right.
And when we get the physical brick and mortar, I already know it'll be called the Creative Suite. The Creative Suite. The other thing I want to say is you have to know when to shift and pivot and stop doing certain things in business as well. So when I shifted and pivoted from, let's say, a $250,000 coach to a $1 million cash flow coach, the pivot was, you're trying to do all things for everybody. You're doing press releases and bios and speaker one sheets and website content and resumes. Stop.
Right.
You have 3 packages. I was like, what? Just 3.
Right. So there was a level of niching, right? I mean, in that regard, where you said, okay, before I was doing all these things, but now it's like, okay, I still do a lot of things, but within those a lot of things, I put them in 3 different packages.
Within those packages.
Yeah.
So when people come to me and say, Tanisha, I just need editing, I got to refer you to somebody else.
Right.
Because that's not the best use of my time and my gift. I can't take the project just to get money. It's not about the money. What is you editing that novel pulling you away from? So do you want the $500 client and every $500 client that comes to you, or are you willing to wait for the $5,000 client? So my base packages start at $5,000.
Right, but it doesn't just include editing.
That's everything. That's publishing. That's
That's
full
publishing.
publishing.
Right.
Full publishing package.
And you're saying, because what we want to do is we want to give you there's a certain level of value that you want to give besides just this little thing and that little thing and this little thing.
Because the truth of the matter is people who come to me don't necessarily know what they need. So they think they just need editing.
Right.
Because here's what people say. I just need you to edit it. I got my cover design on Fiverr and I'm going to upload it to Amazon. And boom, I'm published.
Okay.
Do you know how much money Amazon takes from authors? About 40% of every sale. Yeah.
Right.
I don't have 40% of every $10 book to give to somebody named Jeff Bezos who isn't doing a lick of marketing for my book.
Right. They're just providing a platform.
That's it. So I tell my clients the number one place people should go get your book is your home, your website.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Tanisha, I don't have a website. I know you don't.
Right.
That's why I have a publishing package with a website. We're
Right.
going to build it for you where you can sell your own book from your website, the ebook or the paperback book. We can automate the download of your ebook. You do not have to use Amazon.
We'll be right back after these messages. You're now tuning in to the Minding My Creative Business podcast.
What's the irony?
It's because it's us in different color clothing. I mean, listen, we've been doing a lot of talking and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to make a statement as well.
Because we've seen people make statements with their athletic apparel. We've even seen people make statements as entrepreneurs. But one thing I haven't seen is somebody make a statement as a creative entrepreneur. So what we've done is we have given you an opportunity to make a statement as a creative entrepreneur.
Okay. So if they want to make sure that they're rocking that creativepreneur gear, where can they go get that?
you can go get that gear from whatstheirony.com.
No, that's good. No, because once again, in this coaching space, right? It's
in this do-it-yourself culture where everybody just wants to YouTube it and they think,
right.
I can cut costs and just do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the results you get on the back end,
Yeah.
Right, you actually just cut revenue and didn't know.
you cut revenue.
Definitely. I mean, because like you said, they
You cut costs, but you cut revenue.
they have an idea of what they think they want or what they think they need, but because this is something that you've done and something that you do, I know
tried and
exactly.
true.
Yeah, I know exactly what you need, and you're
Tried
not
and
even
true.
you're not even aware of it. You know what I'm saying? So when you created those additional services and things, was it because you saw the need as they were requesting it, or did you saw the need because I've been through this and I know you're going to need this in the long run?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Let me say it like this. Just giving them editorial service is doing them a disservice.
Right.
Because I'm only giving you a piece of the puzzle. My goal is for you to leave with the puzzle, the packaging for the puzzle, the barcode for the puzzle, the wrapping, so that if you want to go out on a street corner and sell this puzzle, you got everything you need.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you how to sell it.
Right.
So I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're chasing the next $100 client, or let's even jump $9.97 client, whatever it is that the greatest use of your time? Another thing I tell my clients is, yeah, we can create a coaching program based on your book, but we don't do hourly coaching.
Right.
I can't transform your life, Ron, in an hour.
Right.
You probably need to spend 12 to 20 with me.
Right.
So here's the package. We do people a disservice by taking their money for 1 hour consultations for them to ask questions.
And they're not going to walk away with the end result. So you basically want to make sure that you walk away with the transformation that you was really looking for when you came.
Right.
Absolutely.
You came to me for editing, and then the transformation you're looking for is I want to
a book.
publish.
No, you want a book published in
want a book
excellence.
published.
Most people do. And
Right.
they don't want a crappy book.
Exactly. If you came for editing, you didn't want your book crappy, so that let me know you want to publish it. And then you could probably get to the point, and I'm sure you may have seen this, where I'm editing a book for somebody, and then you come back around to them and ask them like, did you ever get that book published? And they didn't get it published. They
Right.
left out on it because then when they left that, they went and found out that there was whole other things that they needed. And you like,
No, let me take it a step further. There are clients who have paid the full $5,000 or $8,000 to get published, to get a website, to get physical books in hand, and they do nothing.
Wow.
The books are now sitting in the garage
Right.
because you don't have enough courage. See, so then now I got to be a mindset coach. Now I got to go into mindset coach mode, and I got to work through all the trauma and all the fears of public speaking and all the things your mama didn't tell you when you was little. And now we got, because you're sitting on 200 books in your garage and you ain't sold none.
right. But I want to go back and reiterate that you said that you get a book.
Yeah.
Just like you don't want to give them, just like you don't want to sell them an incomplete service because you know what the value that they're really looking for. You don't then teach them to give incomplete value.
Right.
Don't do an hour consultation when people probably really going to need 12 to 20 hours with you. How much does 12 to 20 hours of your time cost?
Yeah.
Let's just say 20. I'm going to put it in calculated term for the creatives, right?
Let's do it.
20, and let's say they was charging $100 an hour. I just showed you how to create $2,000 packages. Every time somebody comes to you from here on out, they're going to be spending $2,000.
Yes.
Now go back. When she originally said that the package costs $5,000, people are like, man, $5,000, but I'm about to help you make $2,000 over and over and over and over again. You're going to have the book, and now you're going to have the means to make $2,000. After you make that, you do 2 clients, you done just about broke even off of 3. You in profit. So really, you're getting more out of me than I got
out of you.
But wait, there's more. I feel like I'm on the infomercial.
Right.
But wait, there's more. You didn't let me finish. The other thing I want people to stop doing is one-on-one coaching. I'm not coaching Ron. I'm coaching Ron and let's say 4 other people. So most of my cohorts, even when we're writing a book, so I have Brand Book Bestseller where we write a book in 60 days or less. and it's a sprint.
Right.
60 days or less. You're working with me weekly. Your book is done in 60 days. But I'm doing it with 5 people at a time, 5 to 7. I'm not working with people individually.
Right.
Each person is paying me $5,000.
Right.
Times 7, that's $35,000.
Right.
So I just helped 7 people write their book in 60 days. Now those 7 people need to get published and they don't know what to do next. So they're either going to get the $5,000 package or the $8,000 package. Let's say the 5. So that's another
additional 5 based on the 5 they already
5
paid.
times 7. So
Right.
that's an additional $35,000. $35,000 plus $35,000 is how much money?
70,000.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You're running it up too fast.
I got it at 70. It's
I
70.
don't understand why so many people are creatives and broke. Like, we really cannot be charging $100 nothing. Like,
Wow.
no. Because I'm working with these people 60 days to write, 60 days to publish. So a max of 120 days, I made $70,000.
Right.
And that's just from that.
And that's from me sitting in my office at home.
Right.
I ain't left the house yet.
So that's not an in person. That's Zoom.
No, that's Zoom. Oh,
Right,
that's
that's
Zoom.
Zoom, 'cause
That's Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
So if
Because
you're
my clients can be anywhere. You can get on the Zoom.
Right.
We're not going to an office. We're
Right.
not eating.
Right.
We ain't meeting
We
at the.
work.
No, this is, yeah.
so okay, so you talked about the Brand Book
Bestseller.
Bestseller. It's an accelerator.
Yes.
It's a group program.
Group coaching program.
You can get-
I take 5 to 7 people at once, no more than 7, because I know my capacity.
Right.
They're writing chapters weekly, submitting them to me for accountability to let me know, listen, I finished this chapter, and then I'm giving them real-time feedback on the writing.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's one thing, okay? Because one of the questions we would want to ask is, how do people know about your service? Like, how do they know about your publishing company?
Right.
Right? How would they know about it? But you just answered that by saying there are times where I open up my time.
Mhm.
You create 60 days of your life, 120 days of your life, where it says, I'll invite you guys into a writing camp
Right.
or this Brand Book
Brand Book Bestseller Accelerator. yeah.
bestseller
Mhm.
accelerator, and then from there I can then tell you about my publishing company.
Right.
That's one way of getting people to know about
Yeah.
you.
But that accelerator only runs 3 to 4 times a year
Mm-hmm.
because I'm spending most times 120 days with you.
Yeah.
So I don't get to run it 12 times a year.
Exactly.
And if you miss it, then you may be waiting until next year to get in, depending on my travel schedule and the holiday schedule. Because
Right.
we got to have a block of time to actually write the book,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's
Yeah.
that's
And
gold.
that's just one of the services.
Right.
So I have 3. We didn't even touch ghostwriting.
And that's where we
Or-
about to go.
yeah.
So we have little notes here that
Yes.
so here's what you offer. So go ahead, Ron. Go
But,
ahead.
I mean,
Ron's
so-
like, I'm
Ron is
just
like,
taking
this
it
is
all
just-
in.
Yeah, I'm taking it all in because I
really-
mean, I'm like I said, I love that one-to-many model,
Yeah.
right? Because like you said, you're limited in the one-on-one as far as from a business standpoint, being able to scale it.
Right.
Because if I'm giving you all of my time and it's just you,
Yeah.
then in order for me to scale it, I'm going to have to increase my prices,
Mhm.
right? And everybody might not be able to afford to pay you $35,000.
Correct.
Right, for a one-on-one, because that's
Right.
that's in actuality what it would cost
That's
based on what
it
you're
would
saying.
cost
It would
one-on-one.
cost right
You're
one-on-one
right.
35,000.
Thank you, Ron,
So
for giving me my one-on-one price.
oh no, not hey, listen, that's what you just told me.
Y'all just
You know what I'm
heard it
saying?
here, 35K.
35K,
The
right?
exclusive.
I
So
will spend the whole day with you
Right.
for 35K.
that's it.
Right.
You can
Because
give me for
technically-
12 hours.
You really don't have. You take 60 days. There's not that many 60 days in a year.
Right.
That means I would have only been able to help so many people.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
go
No,
ahead.
so that one-to-many model,
Yeah.
phenomenal model.
Yeah. And
right?
I've done it multiple times and it's worked.
Right.
Again, a lot of and these are people who had the money. They're spending the money. These people don't owe me money. They paid for
Right.
the program. A lot of the downfall is mindset work. They will
Wow.
finish the book and still not publish it. They have paid me $25,000 in full and still have not published it.
And I've seen that, right? So we're gonna do a little pivot here because I've seen that, right? I've had clients that I've coached, and once again, I'm giving them all the tactics, all of the strategy. They got the blueprint. They have everything that they need, but for whatever reason they're not executing, not implementing.
That's
And
right.
it goes back to that mindset. It goes back to those limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So in every coaching program, that mindset piece needs to be implemented in there. So
Absolutely.
I'm assuming based off your experience that you've added that piece to, okay, yes, we're going to build this book, we're going to do this book, but I got to help you do some of this mindset so that you don't got 20 books sitting in your garage.
Absolutely. So one thing about the accelerator is it's only for people who want to write their signature brand book. So it would be your book for entrepreneurs on minding their own business, minding their own creative business,
Right.
hypothetically. So maybe you have a 7-step coaching program that you take people through. So it's essentially your coaching program.
Right.
It's the pillars.
Right.
It's a little bit of mindset, and it's your 7 steps.
Right.
That's the book. A lot of times people are scared to give their secret sauce away because I'm scared you're going to get it and try and teach it somewhere else or try and implement it on your own. The truth of the matter is, if you could get the transformation on your own, you would have already got it.
Correct.
So I can give you the blueprint for, I teach a webinar on Brand Book Bestseller. I say, these are the 3 ways to write a brand book, a book around your brand that's going to get you the bestseller status, and I can help you do it in 60 days. Now, you can try it yourself because you have the blueprint, or I can help you. And for me to help you, it's $5,000.
Right.
So, okay, so we got to get into some of the other services too.
Sorry.
The,
We'll be here all day.
You know,
I
you
know.
get the packaging, the ghostwriting, but what you were saying is really good, especially for somebody who's like, I want to help. I'm an author, and I want to help other people become authors as well. I'm gonna be an author maker, right?
Yeah,
And so they want to be an author maker, and they're not realizing the piece you just said was important. It has to be the book.
Yes.
That is the signature brand book. Why? Because these other 12 streams of income that's going to come out of there are going to bleed out of the brand. It can't
Correct.
just. You can just write a book, but not all books can be milked in the same way.
Correct.
So, I
So a
want you to
lot of
speak to
people want to write their life story, and I'm like, that's great.
That's great.
I want you to write the empowerment, the rags to riches, the, drugs to church, whatever it is. I've seen it all, especially in the Christian community. And I want you to write that book. But when you write that book, I want you to know what's on the other side of that book. Because even though I wrote When the Smoke Clears, which is centered around my life, going from suicidal thoughts and depression to where I am today, I knew the goal was to get to the stage play. And then I know a year or 2 from now, Ron, the goal is to get to a full feature film.
Right.
I know what my next jumps are, even though I haven't taken the step yet.
Right.
So there's a book that I've been sitting on. I work on it every now and then in between clients. It's my first fiction book. Now I have 23 nonfiction books. I'm looking to hire a fiction ghostwriter. I can't find one. I know the storyline is in my head. I can tell you how I want it to flow. I just need somebody to flush out the writing because I'm really just busy with other stuff.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, it's for selfish reasons that I want to hire a ghostwriter. Because I want the book to be the blueprint for the movie and the stage play. I don't really care about the book. I just need the book to be the blueprint so I can give this to the person who writes my scripts. I don't even write my own scripts for my stage play. Richard Bass, he writes my scripts. I give him my book and say, I need a script based on this book.
Right.
So read the book and create the script and tell me what I owe you.
You talk about it too simply. Like,
Right. No, she
sound
definitely
It
do.
really is simple.
Because it's not necessarily like, because you was like, I mean, I don't really care about the book, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean, I care about the book, but
but
I'm going to do a book signing and then I'm going to be like, okay, Richard, we need to
Let's
get
go
the
ahead-
script
let's
going.
get the script going.
Yeah,
Right.
let's get this movie going.
Right.
So I'm sorry.
And no, I was just gonna say, I just want people to know that. So if you're out here trying to be an author maker, and you say, "Well, I helped this person," and you're trying to charge people a certain amount of money to write a book,
Right.
that they're not gonna wind up being able to monetize. They're gonna feel like you
Got over on
got over on
Yeah,
them. But
that's true.
she's saying, "I'm gonna help you write a book that you're gonna be able to monetize because
Correct.
it's gonna be able to have different streams of income that are coming out of it." I
Correct.
just want to make sure that that's clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's like the book is the
blueprint.
Is the blueprint,
Mhm.
or
It's
it's
the
the foundation, it's the base, and then it's like the Lego. So you got the base blocks,
Yeah.
and then okay, as a result of having this base block, we can build other things on this.
top of
but
that.
this is the foundation.
Correct.
So like you said, okay, we have the book, but now we
Yes.
got the screenplay. Then we have the stage play. Then we have merchandising.
Yep.
We have all these other things that we can create based off of this one book. So this one book has created these other avenues to generate revenue for you. So it would behoove you
To
to
please just write
the book.
I
Just write the
I
book.
just want the people
Right.
to write the
That's what you've been trying
And
to
one
say.
and one thing we didn't even touch on. Oh my God, paid speaking engagements, y'all. We ain't even
Right.
Right.
what people have paid me $5,000 to speak for an hour
Right.
Just
What?
talking.
Right.
just to talk.
Just to talk.
Right.
What?
Right.
Wow.
So okay. So
So if I get 10 speaking engagements in 1 month for 1 hour, that's 10 hours, but that's $50,000.
Right. Just
Right.
to speak.
even if you got it in a year, that's $50,000, which is replacing your
Right,
current
exactly.
corporate job. How you? Why
Yeah,
she said you
for
can
you to
go from
talk.
corporate
Right.
to creative.
For
Right.
you to talk.
All right. So we keep talking about getting to these other services.
I know,
Oh,
right?
sorry.
It w-
So and you
We
mentioned
need
it,
2
you
more hours.
Right.
This
You
is
hit on it a
part
little
1,
bit.
2,
Right.
3.
Right.
You hit on it a little bit when you talked about even having your own fiction book, and you've already tinkered and worked on it. And
Yeah.
you're still doing it yourself. You can do it yourself,
can.
but you want to bring in a ghostwriter.
I don't
So let's
want
talk
to.
about that being a service as well, because not
Yeah.
only do you have that publishing package,
Right.
which is the cover and the ISBN number on the all
Yep.
of that kind of stuff.
Library
that
of Congress.
Right.
Yep. People don't understand they got to have a Library of Congress number if they ever want their books to be in public libraries. There are just things that people don't
Right.
know that Amazon is not covering.
Right.
go right.
Even,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
said, even that ISBN.
Everybody got 9,000. So I
Right.
want y'all to do. I
Yeah.
tell people to do this all the time, and they laugh at me. I'm like, the next time you're at a book fair with vendors, just flip over the author's book. If you see 9,000, that means they uploaded it to Amazon
Right.
and they printed from Amazon.
And
Because
and-
all of them have 9,000.
And Amazon, right? Whoever owns the ISBN technically owns the book.
That's your publisher.
So
So
This
if
is
some-
another nugget right here on the Mind in My Creative Business podcast.
So if somebody comes to you like they did when Meyer came to my daughter and said, we want to put Nyla's books in 256 Meyer stores, how do we get a hold of the publisher? I am the publisher.
Right.
You're talking to her.
right.
My daughter, who was, she was 9 at the time, this was 2 years ago, that $8,000 check, Jeff Bezos would have got 40% of that
Right.
yeah,
for doing nothing.
For doing
let's
nothing.
rewind it back. It's what's going on. She just said her daughter. I don't know.
Yes.
Right.
Can you just? I know we just slid that right there.
Yes.
We're gonna get to
My
these other
daughter.
services, but
Yes.
say it again.
She was 7 years old when she wrote her first book. Nyla now has 5 books. Nyla has more speaking engagements than me, okay?
Wow.
Nyla gets paid $250 for her speaking engagements. If the schools do not buy books, we ask for $250. So this Thursday, she has a speaking engagement.
Wow.
They didn't want to buy books. I said, well, Nyla, she want her money. She want her
Right.
bread. She need her $250.
Right.
But she
Come
got to go
on.
to Five Below and the Dollar Tree, okay?
She got to get her little things.
Listen.
Right.
Okay, so we got to get to these services.
Do we?
So
We're gonna have time because I know that we're
Listen.
running out of time.
We
we
need
running out of
like-
time.
we
Okay,
are.
okay,
We need
okay.
So-
part 2.
Well, no,
3,
listen.
and 4.
If you're willing to do a part 2,
I'm good.
we would definitely
This is
love to have you
awesome.
back
Yeah.
because this is dope. This is dope.
Yeah.
And I do have one question that I'm gonna kind of leapfrogging. In your mind,
Yeah.
right, based off your business model, based off your experience, based off of, like I said, I follow you online, so like I said, that's why I can concur you. You
Right.
are the book bully.
The book bully, yes.
Who do you think could and should write books?
So I am of the belief that every person can write at least 2 books. At least 2.
Every.
Let me tell-
No exceptions. Every.
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Every person in the earth is in the earth with purpose. Every person in the earth has at least one gift. You write your book on that one gift. Whatever that gift is. I don't care if it's baking cakes. It might be cleaning up a house. You write a book about cleaning up a house. So you write a book on what makes you an expert. Now, my expertise just happens to be books, so I wrote a book about books.
Right.
But for most people, it's what you do best. And what I tell people is the problem that you solve with the least amount of effort for one specific audience. Our problem is we try and serve way too many people. So at the end of the day, I would love to serve everybody. But when I look at the majority of my clients, they are Christian female speakers and coaches who do not have a book that want to have a book.
Everybody.
Everybody. So the
Everybody.
second book they should write is, I call it the Overcomer book. So something in your life that you may have overcome. It may be from the time you were diagnosed with cancer to the end of the last chemo treatment, whatever it is. We're not talking life story from the day you was born in 1979 to 2024. We're not covering all those years. Right. But really writing about something, and what I tell people is the story is about you, but it's not about you because you're asking people to pay for a product. People don't pay for products. They pay for solutions. So what solution does your book provide to your target audience?
Yeah. So So I don't know if the camera was, I think the camera was on Tanisha when she said what she said.
I said what I
but
said.
I gave Shy a look
What?
because
Shy got a
Shy
book?
got a couple books.
Okay, Shy, let's do
So
it.
I'm putting this out
So
here
Shy
on
in the coaching cohort, Ron in the coaching cohort, the camera guy here in the coaching cohort.
Right. No. So I'm putting it out here on the MMCB podcast that Shy got 2 books in her. She has one.
So we got to hold her
That's the
accountable.
first book, the brand-oriented book.
The brand-oriented book.
Okay.
Right. And then she has this other one, which is the Overcomer book. And the fact that you said Overcomer, because that's what we've been talking
That's what
about.
it's been called?
So
Okay.
it's
Told you I was highly prophetic.
she
And I
did
didn't
say
even
that.
know
I
it.
mean,
She did say that, Shy.
Yeah.
But since we here on me, I
Yes.
want to say I receive it, okay? And then
You ain't
also
gotta receive it. You just gotta do the work.
Right, you gotta do the work.
I receive all the what's on me. And then the other thing is, I love the fact that what you're saying is, I do want you to write the brand-based book,
Yeah.
but I'm not taking your dream away of you getting that thing you overcome out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want you to get that out as well, but do that 1 second.
Yeah.
That I like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not gonna say do that 1 second, because I think it takes a little bit of life to determine what you're really called to do, like what your purpose is. Like, I know I'm in the earth to advance hope. I know I'm an exhorter, an encourager, a motivator. I'm a purpose pusher. I know those things, but it took me a long time to get there. So you spend a lot of years in the darkness, suicidal thoughts, depression, all of those things to fight and really find out who you really are.
Right.
So now I can write those tell-all books of overcoming suicidal thoughts and depression, sexuality issues, molestation, from both men and women. And I mean, I'm candid about it. People will literally tell you it's funny, but it's not funny. They'll be like, you're literally an open book. And I'm like,
Wow.
when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I can help somebody else by sharing my story, and I tell people this, the molestation wasn't good as a single act, but the fact that I can start a nonprofit now to help other people heal from sexual abuse and molestation makes the molestation good. Because had I not went through it, there was no way I could wholeheartedly pour my heart and soul into it and build it the way that I'm building it.
Yeah.
So I had to walk the journey first before I can go back and get some other people and say, okay, come on, let's heal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's just that beauty for ashes.
Beauty for
Okay.
ashes.
Yeah.
Hey, that could be the title for your book.
She trying to see it.
Right.
It's a little bullying going
Right.
on
See?
right
Just
here.
a little bit. Just a
With
little
the book
bit.
bully,
I'm just
you
know,
saying.
going
You
on
said
right
beauty
here.
for ashes. I didn't say beauty for ashes.
So we're gonna have to have her
Yes.
on for a part 2 so
Yes.
we can
Oh my
talk more
God.
about it, because we
This gonna be a 4-part
talked about
series.
the editing. We talked about we didn't talk about
We didn't even get to the
Ghostwriting.
ghost
Yeah, we didn't talk
right
about
because
ghostwriting.
that's actually
Yeah.
a service that's available
Yes.
through
So it is written.
so it is
Yep.
written.
Mhm.
And then of course the publishing comes with the packaging
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so forth and so on. We did talk about the book Accelerator. I mean, there's just so many things to talk about. I want to encourage you to head over to the website. Can you tell them the website?
Absolutely. So it is written.net is the business website. If you want to book me to speak, to pay me the $35K that Ron said I should get for that hour,
Right.
I didn't say it. Ron said my price is $35K. TenitaJohnson.com. It's Tanisha, but it looks like Tenita, TENITA Johnson.com is my personal website. Or they can email me info@soitiswritten.net.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So before we let you go, because we covered a lot.
We covered
a lot. Now, so
and we just scratched the surface.
We just scratched the surface. So what's one thing that you want to just kind of give to our audience that you didn't touch on yet? Like, what's one takeaway from today's episode that you want to give them?
Our audience is creatives who desire to be entrepreneurs or who are already creative entrepreneurs and trying to scale.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the biggest thing is really take a step back and get clear on who you serve best. The key word is best, because I think as entrepreneurs, we can get into the rat race of the grind, the hustle, and chasing the next best thing. And I should be posting on Facebook. No, I should be on TikTok. No, I should be on Instagram. No. Where are your people that you serve best? Again, keyword best, because just because we can serve a lot of people doesn't mean we have to serve a lot of people. We just sat here and said, if I get 7 clients over the course of 120 days, I've made $70,000.
Right.
That's only 7 people.
right.
So who do you serve best? And stop chasing the good for the great.
Right. Ooh, she said stop chasing everybody and focus on who you serve best.
Yeah.
She said that's only 7 people because we know everybody's trying to get 7,000 and 70,000.
Right.
And 700,000 people and still only coming up with about $40.
You
know
get
what I mean?
2. Yeah.
You only made about $40.
Yeah.
For all them followers, all them people you
And
got.
you're not even doing that work well because you have way too many clients.
Way too many people. So
Yeah.
she's saying, I can serve 7 people well and still come out financially lucrative as an entrepreneur. I love it.
And I can do it from the beach. I'm
Right.
just saying.
This is great.
I'll be on vacation.
I kind of want to be an author maker now.
Right. I know you do.
I want to be an author maker at this point.
I can make you an author maker. I'll make other author makers. Come
Right.
on. I got you. Yeah.
Anyway, man, I want to thank you for everything that you said so
Yes,
far
this has
here.
been
It's
awesome.
been you even gave extra on top of the extra that we weren't even planning on giving. And one of the things I said earlier is that we're dedicating this episode to authors,
Yes.
so that they will know that they are creatives,
Yeah.
right? And we answered the question over and over and over and over again that authors are creatives. Can I read this quote really quick?
Go ahead.
Wait, before you read the quote, I just want to say this because this is on tip. Authors are not only creatives. We all have the potential to be multi-millionaires, if not billionaires. It's already living on the inside of us. It's just a matter of unlocking all of that to get to that point and getting through the muck and mire to get to the real hidden treasure within to say, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
And sticking with it long enough to see the manifestation of it. Yeah. But creatives ain't broke. We ain't broke.
Facts.
Nah, bro.
Facts.
That's over with.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody starving.
No starving artists.
No
over
starving
here.
artists
No
over
starving
here
artists.
at all. No, we eating good. We
Right.
at J. Alexander's and like.
And when she says that, you have to understand that she just talked about writing your book and then potentially coming out with a $2,000 package.
Yep.
But you can also write a book that comes out with a script and a stage play that could be a $2 million deal, right? So when she's saying that, you got to go back and I'm telling you, go back and listen to this episode. There are so many gems here. I was gonna read the quote, and then Ron, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay.
But it says that a writer is someone who learns about the world, tries to figure out their corner of it, and then uses words to share what they learned. That's
In a
pretty much
nutshell. Yeah,
in a
that's pretty
nutshell.
good. Yeah.
So on that note, we want to thank you,
Thank you,
Tanisha,
Ron.
for spending your time here
This
with
has
us
been
here today.
awesome.
We also want to thank you all for spending your time listening to or viewing this podcast.
Yes.
We encourage you, if you are listening to this, whatever platform it is, please like, comment, share, leave a review. If it's on YouTube, if you're watching us, do the same thing. That's how we just kind of build up and get it more exposure for this podcast, because we know this podcast is here for you, by us, right?
Yes.
We are creatives, and we created this for creatives. We also want to encourage you to join the Creatives Corner community,
Yes.
which is a newsletter, right? A monthly newsletter, as well as a Facebook community where you'll be surrounded by other creativepreneurs that are on the journey of being a 6, 7, or even 8-figure earner. Actually, I think we're trying to be some billionaires.
We
out here,
trying
real
to
talk.
get 7 and 8.
Right.
6 is
Billionaire.
poverty
Right,
level right,
right,
now. 7
exactly.
and 8.
Right. So join that community so that you can be surrounded by other people like yourself on that journey, so that we can have that community sense. And on that note, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Shy.
All right, so I like to end the podcast with a mantra. So I want everybody who's watching, everybody here, and who's here, period, to repeat this mantra after me. All right, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. All it takes
All it takes
is intention,
is intention,
consistency,
consistency,
and laser focus
and laser focus
to mind my creative business.
To
to mind my creative business.
We out.
Peace.